A dragon broke into our house, finding you in the cradle. I rushed to protect you.
Hey everyone, ThatWyvernCritic here. So today we are back at it again with the 5th episode of the 2nd season of How to Train Your Dragon What If. This time we will be exploring quite a popular what if idea, that is what if Cloudjumper took Hiccup instead of Valka, and how this would have affected the How to Train Your Dragon timeline. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Zachary Shadowkill the first for this idea, and without further ado, let's go! In this alternate timeline, we begin our story 15 years before the first How to Train Your Dragon. Berk is under a heavy dragon raid. The night sky lit up in fire, screams echoing through the village. Stoic runs through the chaos, protecting his people until he hears something that freezes his blood. It's coming from his own house. He bursts through the door and sees a massive stormcutter dragon tearing through the roof, wings slicing the air, eyes glowing in the darkness. Inside, little Hiccup is cornered, terrified. But unlike the original timeline, Valka doesn't see it happen. Stoic does. Without thinking, Stoic charges the dragon with his axe, roaring as he swings. The stormcutter, startled, lifts off, clipping the walls as it escapes through the flames. Stoic pulls his son into his arms and shields him from the collapsing wood, saving him just in time. That one act of courage changes everything. Valka is never taken. Hiccup grows up with both of his parents, raised under two very different views of the world, his mother's kindness and patience, and his father's discipline and duty. Valka tells him stories that dragons may not be evil, of balance between human and beast. Stoic tells him those are dangerous thoughts that'll get him killed, and between those two voices, Hiccup grows kind-hearted, but pressured to become a fearless warrior. By the time the events of How to Train Your Dragon 1 roll around, Hiccup is older, more capable, but still not like the other Vikings. He's curious, always inventing things, always asking questions and always doubting why dragons and humans have to fight. Stoic eventually enrolls him in dragon training, hoping to shape him up. Hiccup tries to fit in, but he can't bring himself to enjoy hunting dragons. The rest of the teens think he's stuffed. Astrid's still the top student, the one Stoic actually praises. Then, one stormy night, it happens again. The sound of flapping wings, a shadow across the moon. The same stormcutter that broke into their house 15 years ago returns to Berk. Hiccup spots it flying toward a cliff, and against his better judgment, follows it. He loads up his bola launcher, aims, and gets ready to fire. But when the dragon turns its head, Hiccup freezes. Its eyes aren't hateful, they're intelligent, curious. Before he can decide what to do, the dragon moves faster than lightning, grabs him, and soars into the clouds. By morning, Hiccup is gone. Berk assumes the worst. Stoic thinks he has lost his son to the dragons. He shuts down, putting everything into his mission to find and destroy the nest once and for all. Valka, on the other hand, refuses to give up. She believes Hiccup is alive somewhere. And she's right. Hiccup wakes up in an enormous icy cavern surrounded by dragons, not chained, not fighting, just living. The stormcutter drops him off and flies away. Hiccup panics, tries to escape multiple times, but nothing works. Eventually, the stormcutter returns, this time offering him a fish. For the first time, Hiccup doesn't see a monster. He sees a creature that's alive, kind, maybe even protective. Slowly he starts learning, observing how dragons act, how they help one another, how they communicate. His fear fades, replaced by fascination. Weeks turn into months. Hiccup begins sketching dragons, studying them, understanding them, realizing that Berk has been wrong about them this whole time. He makes a promise. He'll dedicate his life to rescuing dragons, not killing them. Hiccup and the Stormcutter, now known as Cloudjumper, have bonded deeply. Together, they rescue dragons from traps, heal the injured, and hide them in the sanctuary, keeping them safe from the Northern Alliance, specifically their leader, Drago Bloodfist, whom has been enslaving dragons with nets and weapons unlike anything seen before. Hiccup sees Drago as the greatest threat to both humans and dragons, a man trying to control what should never be controlled. Back on Berk, Stoic continues his campaign to find the so-called Dragon's Nest, believing that destroying it will end the war. Nobody knows what he's searching for is much, much larger and much deadlier than anyone expects. When word spreads that Drago is moving north, burning islands as he goes, Hiccup realizes that his sanctuary is next. Just like in the original timeline, Drago attacks with his fleet, but this time Hiccup and the dragons are ready. The battle is massive, dragons clash in the sky, ships explode, and the sea glows red from fire and ice. Despite his best efforts, Hiccup's wildebeest is overwhelmed by Drago's own, stronger alpha. Ice covers the sanctuary, dragons fall under Drago's control, and Hiccup is forced to retreat, watching everything he built burn away. Drago's forces grow stronger than ever, now backed by hundreds of enslaved dragons. Hiccup barely escapes alive, his home in ruins, his dragon scattered, and Cloudjumper missing. He looks at the horizon, toward Berk. He knows there's only one place left where this war can end. And so, 5 years later, and presumed dead by many, Hiccup Haddock set sail for home. When Hiccup returns to Berk, the island is thrown into disbelief. Stoic can barely comprehend it. His son, alive after all these years. He embraces him with tears in his eyes, but the reunion is fragile. Hiccup has changed. He's seen things his father never could. He speaks of peace, of dragons, of the need to unite rather than destroy. To Stoic, it sounds like weakness. To Valka, it sounds like hope. But peace doesn't last long. Rumors spread across the archipelago. The Northern Alliance is advancing again, burning and enslaving every village they come across. Drago's wildebeest is unstoppable, freezing entire fleets in seconds. The world is falling under his control. Berk prepares for the inevitable war, while Hiccup plans something else, to find a way to free the dragons still enslaved under Drago's rule. What Hiccup doesn't know is that Drago's wildebeest, already weakened from its brutal battle with Hiccup's own sanctuary alpha, is leading his forces toward Dragon Island, unaware that deep beneath the volcano, something ancient is stirring. Queen of Dragons, buried in magma and stone, is awakened by the chaos above. The sound of the wildebeest's roar echoes through the caverns, shaking the island to its core. Without warning, the volcano erupts. Fire and smoke split the sky as the Red Death bursts from the crater, molten rock clinging to her scales. Drago's army freezes in terror, even his wildebeest trembles, backing away, but the queen is furious, wounded, vengeful, and hungry. She lunges at the wildebeest with devastating force, slamming him into the sea cliffs and shattering what remains of his tusks. His ice bread barely formed before she burns through it, melting glaciers and ships alike. The battle is pure chaos, fire and ice colliding, ash raining from the sky. Drago screams orders, but his control is gone. His wildebeest is no longer listening. The Red Death tears into him, pinning him down with her jaws, and in a single fiery breath engulfs both the Alpha and Drago himself. The sky turns red, and the world falls silent. From above, Hiccup and Cloudjumper arrive just in time to witness the carnage. Hiccup is horrified. They dive in, drawing her attention away from the coastline. She roars, a sound that shakes the sea itself, and turns her fury toward them. Cloudjumper dodges through the smoke, but he's no match for her size. Just when all hope seems lost, a flash of purple light streaks through the sky, fast, precise, and powerful. A night fury, sleek, wild, and completely untamed, slams into the Red Death's face, firing plasma blasts that explode across her wings. Hiccup can't believe his eyes. He's only heard stories of these dragons, the rarest of them all. The Vikings watching from Berk simply call it the Wild Night Fury, but to us, we know who it is. Together, Hiccup, Cloudjumper and the Wild Night Fury fight as one. They drive the Red Dead farther and farther away from Burke, pulling her toward the open sea. She's wounded, furious but relentless. The battle stretches across the skies, storm of fire and wings tearing through the night. The Red Dead thrashes wildly, birding and bellowing, desperate to hold her dominance. Hiccup, Cloudjumper, and the Wild Night Fury rise higher and higher through the smoke, through the chaos, breaking past the clouds where air is thin and the stars cut through the haze. The Red Dead charges after them, her wings beating like thunder, molten cracks glowing across her scales. But she's weakened, her own rage and the wildebeest wounds tearing her apart from the inside. Then, with one final blast from the Night Fury and a strike from Cloudjumper, the Queen loses her control. Her wings falter, her roar turns into a scream that shakes the sea below. She plummets from the sky, down through the ash and fire, before vanishing into the ocean below. The impact sends a wave across the horizon, and silence follows. Hiccup looks down, breathless. It's over. The explosion lights up the night sky. The Queen of Dragons disappears into the flames, defeated, but not dead. The sea falls silent, and the clouds begin to clear. As the ash settles, the Wild Night Fury lands near Hiccup. Their eyes meet. No words are exchanged, only understanding. The dragon gives a low rumble, then takes off into the sky, vanishing into the clouds. Hiccup and Cloudjumper return to Burke, where Stoic and Valka await. Burke finally sees the truth. Dragons aren't monsters, they're survivors. The war is over, but the balance remains fragile. And that's all for today. I hope you all enjoyed the 5th episode of the 2nd season of How to Train Your Dragon What If. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more like this, and make sure to comment down below what you thought of this video, or any future video suggestions like a what if idea or anything else. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.